So welcome to this month's Mastermind course. And I'm going to do something today that I rarely do, and that is read something word for word that is really, really important. And when you guys get the recording of this, you'll want to listen to this probably over and over. But today I'd like you to take some notes on some of the things that resonate with you the most. And it's called the success philosophy. And the success philosophy is really powerful. There's a philosophy out there that successful people do the things that unsuccessful people are unwilling to do. And I'm going to read these, and if something resonates, write it down. And there's about 12 of them. So here we go. A lot of people are talkers. They talk about all the things they can do, but they don't do it. And by the way, this is by Albert Gray, if you're wondering. The one thing I know about you is that you're a producer. You're a performer. My grandmother used to always say, you don't judge people by what they say, you judge them by what you see them do. We should place our worth not on what we think we can do, but on what we actually do, because that is real, isn't it? People who are coming up under a person are always going to think about that person the way they see him express himself about the people above him, around him, below him. If he gives credit and praise the people around him and over him, then the people coming up under him will feel the same way about him. You always want to promote this. Next is we always want to promote never being critical of anyone or someone else. If you're saying something to someone for the purpose of helping that person, then it should be said only to the people that can actually have an influence on the person you're talking about. We always want to promote this philosophy. We always want to promote the philosophy, I don't want to be right, is the one right down. I want to be for what's right. I don't want to be right, I want to be for what's right. We always want to promote the philosophy, I am not important, but what I do is important. If we do this, then we don't become consumed with our own importance. We always want to promote the philosophy of a wholesome and good attitude. If you think you can, you can. A successful person will say, I can, I will, I'm going to excel and succeed. A successful person realizes the difficult can be done right away, the impossible takes a little longer.
Yeah.
Say that again?
Sorry, I didn't realize I wasn't on mute.
There you go. We want to promote the two types of people philosophy. There are two types of people in this world. One looks for a way and the other looks for an excuse. It doesn't take any guts or gumption or determination to find an excuse. Anybody can locate one. But it takes a quality person to find a way over, under, around, right through any obstacle that stands in the way of building a great business. We always want to promote the philosophy and principle of you can't build a business, you build people, and people build businesses. We always want to promote the philosophy of today is the day, and now is the time to achieve and accomplish something. Get the order today. Make the sale today. Promote the philosophy that a successful person realizes enthusiasm is so important. If you act enthusiastic, you'll become enthusiastic. Will James, a great Harvard psychologist, discovered that action goes before feeling. You can control and regulate your feelings by controlling and regulating your actions. If you act a certain way, you become to feel that way. Action goes before feeling. We want to promote the philosophy that successful people understand we should never be part of a problem, we should be part of the solution to the problem. People like this are motivational and inspiring to others. Here's a good one, guys. Little people get upset over little things. Big people don't. Little people get upset over little things. Big people don't. Most people go through their entire life getting upset, spending a lot of time and energy on little incidental things that don't make a bit of difference. They haven't learned that little people get upset over little things, big people don't. Successful people realize that they have to form the habit of doing things failures don't like to do. And in this business, failures don't like to plan in advance. They don't like to call and make appointments in advance. They don't like to see a certain number of people every day. They don't like to prospect. Successful people control their emotions. We live in an age of intellectual giants and emotional midgets. We can put a man on the moon and bring him back, but yet we can't control ourselves to overcome the emotions enough to overcome the fear of failure and the fear of rejection. So many times we are so afraid that we don't even do something because we're afraid of trying it in the first place. Successful people realize the way you overcome the fear of rejection is to go out and make the call. The way you overcome the fear of failure is to keep figuring out better and better ways of making the presentation. If you don't succeed, you keep trying and trying. And lastly, successful people set the right example by being responsible and making responsible decisions. If you act irresponsible, you will always fail. If you are responsible, you will always succeed. So I wanted to show you guys this. I've had this for almost 20 years. You can kind of see the wrinkled corners. It's a well-used paper. I read it probably 3-4 times a month, maybe more than that. It's in my planner. And successful people do the things that unsuccessful people are unwilling to do is the main thing I want you guys to take from it. And what is it? Is it make a call? Is it practice? Is it invest in yourself? Is it not quit? What is that will be your success philosophy? So I will actually, I'll probably take a picture of this. I think that's what I'll do, and I'll send it to Janet. I'll have Janet send out to you guys. It's not the best quality because it is actually the 20-year-old paper that I got, and there's something I think symbolic about that. Today I'm going to talk about closing, and closing is a topic that I'm very passionate about. It's something I've taught on for years. It's in my book. It's this Closing for Champions keynote I've probably given 3,000 times, I'm guessing. And whether it's been in a coaching session or a keynote or a training. And I'm going to talk to you about the philosophy of closing and then how to close. And remember that 55 colleges in the United States teach a course on sales. Only 15 in the United States you can get a major. So most people that are selling for a living have not had formalized training on how to sell, let alone how to close. So there's a mindset, there is when to close, when not to close, and then I'm going to teach you some closes today. I want to remind you again, when you're in the Mastermind group, you have full access to myself in our office in between the calls. So that means you can call, and I'll give you the number again. It's 408-888-4848. My email is gmichels, M-I-C-H-E-L-S, at southwesternconsulting.com. And Gary, I'm having a little challenge with this one thing in my business. Can you help me with this? Hey, I want to run something by you. And I or my team will spend some time with you to figure it out. So today's goal of learning these 20 closes is to kind of see what resonates, which closes work the best, and then you're going to go to work and apply them in your business. Now, I want to say that closing has many meanings. It could mean closing for a referral. It could mean closing for a next step. It could be closing as an upsell. It could be closing something that you've been going after for a long time and you finally close the deal. But if you cannot close, nothing else matters. So let's dig in. And first is what we have, and let me get us a quick glass of water here first, and then we'll get started. The magic 12 characteristics of closing. And this is the mindset. And you know that we always talk about skill and will. And by the way, again, many of you guys are listening right now live. Some are listening by phone. If you have a question, feel free. Gary, I got a question for you. Come off mute and make a comment, make a question. I'm here for you guys. So otherwise, I'm going to keep talking through, because we make ourselves available in between the calls and also on the calls, and we have the review call again in 2 weeks. So we're very much here for you. But if you have a question today, Gary, I got a question for you about that, and I'll be able to answer that for you. So let's talk about skill and will. And skill is about the actual skill set, technique to make something happen. So it'd be the actual language of the close. The will is about the attitude and the mentality of the person that is doing the action. And so if you have a bad will, high skill, you're wasting your skill set. If you have high will, good attitude, good motivation, really into it, having the right mindset, and you have good skill, that's the ticket. So some people have high will, low skill, because they've never been taught how to form a close. So to really take advantage of learning this first part and the second part, and saying, I'm going to have the right mindset and I'm going to have the right skill set. The first one is champion closers have a burning desire to close a sale. What I mean by that is it's like so in their head and their heart that they go into it planning and practicing and throwing and rehearsing, and they want so much to have that other person get the benefits of whatever product it is that you're selling. So champion closers put themselves in the shoes of I am an assistant buyer, and which means that I'm going to help this person make decisions, and it's like my most important thing is that I close this deal, but not a pressure sales, but we're getting this done, and there's such a feeling inside of accomplishment when you do it. Next is champion closers believe their prospect's going to buy, and that means that don't assume people are going to buy or not going to buy. Get by how they look or what they say, but everybody's buying. Everybody's getting them. The next one is champion closers are sincere, and what I mean by sincere is you can do eye contact to show sincerity. You can do a lot of head nods, which I tend to do a lot of. You can do a lot of "Are you with me?" Trial closes, eye contact, smiles. Those are all things that show sincerity. Then champion closers also know how to vary their voice quadrants. And I think I've shared this before when I did presentations a couple weeks ago, that when you talk low and slow, it's authentic. When you talk slow and loud, it's respectful and commanding, authority. When you speak loud and fast, it's energy and enthusiasm. And when you start to gain momentum and that softer and get louder and faster, that is building anticipation. Something like, are you ready? This is really good. You're really going to like this. That would be like building up anticipation. So using the 4 voice quadrants is setting the tone to close the deal. And top producers don't speak in one voice the whole time. They speak in all 4 voice quadrants. They know their closes word for word. So we're going to teach several today. It doesn't mean you wing it. It means you truly know them word for word, which means you got to practice to rehearse. They build yes momentum. Every 7 to 10 minutes of a presentation, they get a small trial close, which I'll remind you about in a moment. They're masters at using names. That means remembering people's names and third-party names. So are you good at remembering names? Or are you one of those people, I'm not that good at remembering names? And when you're not good at remembering names, you're kind of saying that you're not important. Never argue with the prospect, because you may win the battle, you'll lose the war, you'll lose the sale. Never lose your cool. I give an example of a duck on Golden Gate Park. My father grew up in San Francisco, still lives there now. We used to go up and feed the ducks all the time. And if you go to see a duck or a swan or a geese or a flamingo, anything above the water, they're beautiful above the water. But underneath the water, they're all weird with their language. And that's, you can't see underneath the water. So the whole concept is, if you got stuff that happens to you, you can't portray it. People need to think that you're cool, hand, Luke, you're awesome. Everything's cool with you. You can, later on, when behind the scenes, you can lose your cool, not in front of your customer. They're politely persistent. They leave people happy. I'm always thinking that there's a video camera in every room that I'm presenting in, and the video cameras in the back of the room, and it's filming everything I'm doing, and I would watch that video later, and what I would say was, I'd be proud of what I just did. Or my daughter, who's 9.5, be proud of what Daddy just did. So are you having a video camera on your life, and are you portraying happiness? Are you leaving people in the audience happy? Are you saying, I wonder what they must be thinking right now? I wonder if they're happy. That's huge. And champion closers have mastered several closes. So I want you to write 2-5-12-20 on your paper. And what that means is the average person knows 2 closes. If you're a champion closer, you know 5. If you're a ninja, you know 12. And if you want to go for all 20, that's rock star status. But you at least want to know 5 to 12 closes, and we're going to teach them to you today. Now, first of all, you got to know when to close. So when I say when to close, if you close too soon, that's bringing up an objection. If you close too late, people have already made their decision. So when do you close? Now, if you're in a 3-minute presentation, they're already doing these, you should ask a trial closer. You should close. If you're 10 minutes in and they're doing these, you should close. If it takes 20 minutes, if they never do it, then don't close. Keep asking questions. But once they do these, this is when you close. The first one is when they make positive comments. Ooh, that's nice. I like that. Oh, I can see where that would, oh. And when they do those positive comments, that means you should close. When they ask questions, this needs an asterisk next to it. People only ask questions if they are interested. People only ask questions if they're interested. So be really aware if they ask you a question, that's the perfect time to close. When they look at the agreement or paperwork again, that's a good one. You should close. When they look at the website details again, that's the reason to think, Now, how do you know that if you're talking to them on the phone? You can tell when there's quiet. If you get the feeling that they're doing one of those things, you might just say, hey, are you looking at that paperwork again? You see on the website on page, okay, and like, yeah, they're looking at it, big deal. When they laugh and smile a lot, when they lean closer to you. So this is what we call the buying lines graph. When you start talking to people on the bottom left-hand side, you start moving up the graph, you start sharing things that they like about your product or service, and at this point, they may ask you a question, lean forward or something. But when they do, that means you're crossing the buying line. And that means you're in the buying zone. And when you're in the buying zone is the very, very best time to close. People are fired up, they're ready to go. Absolutely huge. But if you keep going, oh, and one more thing. And one thing I forgot to tell you. And oh, one more thing. You move right past the buying zone into a very dangerous area where they likely will give you an objection and not work with you. Now, when do you not close? When do you say, you know what, maybe, are you all right? I catch you? Like, I just thought you were much more motivated the other day when we were talking on the phone, and just today I don't feel like you're fully with me. Is everything okay? And being willing to back off and go, oh my God, you're right, speaks volumes to who you are as a person. So when not to close, when they get real quiet, oops. Actually, there's a couple more. When they get real quiet, when their arms are folded, when they don't look at you, and when they make funny facial expressions. So here we go. Let's dig into the first close. And the first close is what we call trial close. And trial close is a temperature-taking question to use every 7 to 10 minutes of a presentation. Are you with me so far? Does that make sense? Are we moving in the right direction? The direct question close it's not one of my favorites to use, but especially like, how does it sound? Or what do you think? Those two are not good. That's what most amateur salespeople use. But how close are we isn't so bad. It's one of my favorites. Put a star next to this one. Put Gary's favorite. It really is an awesome close. It's called the 1 to 10 close. And the way the 1 to 10 close is, so I'm just curious, Joe, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 meaning you're just not that interested, you wish you wouldn't have had met today. It's just not a fit for you. It's just not the right thing. Tell me, oh my God, I wish we would have done that yesterday. And you're so fired up over it and you're excited. Then where do you currently stand on that 1 to 10 scale? And then what would it take to move you from a 7 to a 10 or whatever number they are? The second version of this is if they give you a low number and they give you like a 4 or 5, you can say something to the effect that, can I ask you a question? Sure. When you first came in here today, you were like on fire. You were excited. You were happy. And now I just see that, oh, we've lost your spunk a little bit. And then you ranked yourself like a 4 out of 10. I'm just curious, why aren't you a 2? And when you do, why aren't you a 2? What it causes them to say, well, I kind of like this, I like this, I like this. And, oh, you're probably much more like a 7 or 8. And they actually end up working with us. So awesome. Nice meeting you. Okay. And so that's the second version. Summary of benefits is a list of 2 features and 1 benefit, or 2 benefits and 1 feature. And it's a really powerful close to use because people buy benefits, not features. Best price guaranteed is just that. Go ahead and get together some prices of you can find anywhere else, and if you can match, if you can share it with me, I would be happy to more than match that. But you can only do this in industries where you have price flexibility. One of Gary's best again. No means yes close. No means yes close. So this one is. Can you see a reason why we can't move forward with this paperwork today? And when they say no, what they really mean is yes. Bonus close, 6.5. Love this close. I'm going to go ahead and show you how it works, Mark. If you like it, great. We'll go ahead and set something up to work together. If you don't, that's okay too. Could you just do me a favor at the end? Tell me yes or tell me no, but not tell me maybe. And that's a really, really good way to get to a point where they don't tell you maybes. Paperwork close is simply someone already has the paperwork filled out, and it's just assumptive, and it's a really good close. A pending event is something that they have an event coming up, and it's urgent, and you want to kind of play to that. So if I'm reading you right, it looks like you may want to be out of your home and moving forward in your new life by the end of the year. Is that correct? So you play off the event they have coming up. Could be a very good close for you. Minor point close is very small. Like you like I used to do school fundraising, so I would do like closing out a band or a cheerleader group. I say, you like the idea of me coming out and talking to the girls? Oh yeah, I like that. I like the idea that we'll just have simple prizes so it's not complicated for you. Oh yeah, I like that. You know what? My biggest problem is calendar. Do you have a calendar handy? And it's like they almost sign up on a minor point. She just asks for calendar, although you didn't say, do you want to do it? So minor point can be a really good one. Everybody's getting them as a list of the Jones, Smiths, Merriweathers, all the people that are already doing business with you, and they'll share what they're more likely to work with you if they've seen that you've worked with other people. Yes, momentum close, just like minor point close. This is getting yeses all the way through. Choice of 2 positives is very big. And so we could get the red house on the corner or the purple house 2 doors in. They're both beautiful homes. And the assumptive choice of 2 positives is very good. Now you can see here, there's lots of examples up here. You guys can actually pick which one worked best for you. Tie downs are very good. Tie downs are isn't it, doesn't it, wouldn't it, couldn't it, shouldn't it, doesn't it make sense? And you use them at the beginning or end of a sentence. If you use it at the end of a sentence, it's called an inverted tie down. Front of a sentence is isn't it, doesn't it, wouldn't it on the front end. Inverted would be, that makes sense, doesn't it? And so whatever, if you're using one, use another one too, so you balance it out. Boomerang, another one of Gary's closes. One of my favorite closes. When you throw a boomerang, what happens to you? It comes right back to you. So someone asks you a question, answer a question with a question, but truly, sincerely be interested in what it is that they're doing. Do you have it in red? Is that the color that you'd really fire you up? Or if we made it available in red, should we reserve one for you? Crystal ball close. Love this one. Assuming you were holding a crystal ball in your hand, you can look into the crystal ball and see how the whole future transaction would come down. What do you see? Assumptive close. It's very proactive. What I'm going to do is go ahead and order. Go ahead and set up the appointment and pop an email to you right away in the email. And as soon as you get it, we'll go ahead and get this thing set up. So you're just very assumptive. If then close, if we do this for you, then you do this for us. The takeaway close is also a very good close. This one right here is maybe this isn't a fit for you. And like when you take it away, they want it even more. The walkout close is you're selling to a group of like 2 or more people, and you know they're going to want to talk about it at the end. So you just actually, I know I had to make a quick call anyways, and I'm just going to go ahead and pop out real quick for 10 minutes, and you just walk out. And makes them talk about it and tell you what their thinking is. So walkout close. Then the T-bar Ben Franklin close. Been around forever. You take a piece of paper, you draw a line down the middle. On the left-hand side, you write out all the things that they loved about your product or service, and you help them with that side. I know you like this, I know you like this, I know you like this. Then listen, all due fairness, what were some concerns that you have? And you don't help them on that side. And then you just look down and you go, I guess that settles that, doesn't it? You got 21 yeses on this side and 4 no's over here. Time to move forward. So then there's a couple other things here. If you're selling with 1 or more people, then this one is really kind of cool too. And this is, you know what, if there's more than one of you, what most couples do or most groups do is if most things make sense, that's what we pick. It's not fully perfect science, but people use that as a measuring stick. If most things make sense and fit, we can move forward. Lost cause sale is what we had to do to get what we had proposed in here. You could treat for a meal, coffee, golf. People always love to be entertained. And then lastly is energy and excitement sell. Energy and excitement sell. So there we have it. These are the 20 closes. And what I want you to do is go in and pick out 3 to 5 that you think are good fits for you. I want you to kind of weave into your presentation where you'd use some of those closes. And if you think there's something there that really makes sense, you can even write them, like rewrite them and send them over to me. And once again, it's gmichaels@southwesternconsulting.com. And what I'd be more than happy to do is to go in and listen and read and kind of make sure if it makes sense and then send it back to you. So at this point, I'm going to see who has questions, comments, and see where we're at. Anybody have any questions today? Okay, remember.
How much? I do. This is
Hey,
Sheila. How much do you actually use a script? Like, you know, you say write it down and send it over, but how much do you actually use that?
I use scripts so much. We actually write scripts for companies, and I use scripts in our company. Our coaches at self-coaching have scripts. Our consulting, we have scripts. Scripting it's like the foundation of a house. And if you can if you have a strong foundation, the rest of the house is going to be good. And so I think scripting is really, really good. And then it gives you something to practice, drill, and rehearse, Sheila. And if you don't have a script, give me a call. Maybe we can help you create part of a script for what you do.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, I don't yet, so I don't know. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, we'll start with just writing a very basic closing script based on the samples I gave you here today. A very basic one. And then send it over and we can actually add to it.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any questions? Okay, so here's what you want to do. You want to go back and think about the success philosophy, and you want to think about which of those success points resonated the most with you, and write them out and look at them and read them. And then I also want you to take the rest of the session today on closing and pick which closes you're going to use to get referrals, which closes you're going to use to close the deal, which closes you're going to use to close for an appointment, and which ones are you the most comfortable with, and just run with it, guys. So until next time, we're here, and I always tell people, use the last few minutes of the hour to go back and review some of the things that we covered today, because they'll be very helpful for you if you don't let the law of diminishing intent take over. And LODI means the further away you get from the action, less likely it is you'll act on it. And so really go look at these closes. Where can I use them? Use them on each other, role play, and that's it.
This is a fabulous list, Gary. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And feel free, if you have questions, to give me a call in between, guys. I'm here for you.